tonight, word of an untimely death. Kurt Cobain was the lead singer of the group Nirvana. Their albums were bestsellers, their songs filled with images of despair and violence. One lyric, "The sun is gone, but I have a light. The day is done, but I'm having fun."
Nirvana didn't just shake the music world in the early 90s, they rewrote it. And at the center of it all was Kurt Cobain, the fragile genius with piercing blue eyes, a voice full of pain, and a mind that changed music forever. Most people know the headlines. The fame he never wanted, the songwriting that felt like a cry for help, and the tragic end that still haunts millions. But what if there's more to the story? Far more than the world was ever told. For decades, fans have questioned the official account of his death. Rumors, missing details, and strange inconsistencies refused to die. And now, newly uncovered information has finally come to light, revealing a version of events more unsettling than anyone expected. On March 5, 2025, Seattle attorney Scott Reiner made headlines when he released a 12-page affidavit along with 2 audio files sent anonymously to his law firm. According to the sender, someone who claimed to be an in-house courier for a local music company, they were at Kurt Cobain's home on the afternoon of April 5, 1994, and what they witnessed suggested that the fatal shot was not the act of a lone individual. The witness stated that they had been instructed to deliver an envelope to the Lake Washington Boulevard East residence at about 5 p.m. They were told to use a side entrance and were led toward the back of the property by a tall, long-haired man who seemed familiar with the home. From there, they reported hearing a heated argument coming from the greenhouse behind the house that lasted roughly 15 minutes. Then came a single gunshot. According to their testimony, no one exited the greenhouse for about 3 minutes. Around 10 minutes later, the same man who had escorted them out appeared again, his jacket pocket noticeably bulging as he walked calmly toward the main road. The witness said they saw no blood on him and no obvious signs of a struggle, only a striking sense of composure. In the same filing, Reiner disclosed an audio recording he claimed was made by Cobain himself on the night of April 4th, just 1 day before his death. In the recording, a male voice, consistent with known samples of Cobain's, says, "They want to end it before I do anything else. They're making up a story. I'm tired." Early sound analysis suggests the audio was captured on a 4-track cassette recorder, the kind Cobain often used for home demos. Engineers familiar with Nirvana's 1993 sessions noted that the background noise matched what one would expect from a greenhouse at night: insects, faint echoes, and the distant honk of passing cars. The file showed no signs of editing. The affidavit also references a handwritten sketch allegedly found in Cobain's office after his death, but never released publicly. The note reads, "Don't let them finish writing for me. If I stay silent, they will speak for me." Handwriting expert Sheila Lowe, who had previously examined Cobain's suicide note, reviewed the document and found strong similarities to entries in Cobain's personal journals. According to Reiner, the note had been kept for decades by a member of the cleanup crew and was anonymously mailed to him in early 2025. Another detail in the affidavit claims that Cobain made an 11-minute phone call on the night of April 3rd to a music producer in Athens, Georgia. During the call, he reportedly discussed plans to leave Seattle within 2 weeks to start a new project. Before hanging up, Cobain is said to have added, "If I don't make it back this time, don't let anyone tell the story for me." Reiner says the call was verified through archived phone bills and by the producer himself, whose statement is now part of the law firm's documentation. The official ruling in Kurt Cobain's case was based on a combination of forensic findings and crime scene observations. Yet over the past 3 decades, multiple analysts have pointed out elements that don't fully match the technical profile of a self-inflicted gunshot. When reviewed together, these inconsistencies cast doubt on the original conclusion from an independent forensic perspective. 1. Toxicological inconsistencies. Toxicology reports from the King County Medical Center revealed that Cobain's blood morphine level was 1.52 milligrams per liter, along with traces of diazepam. For someone without consistent heavy opioid use, this amount is considered above the lethal threshold. Even with Cobain's history, several independent specialists have stated that remaining conscious and performing coordinated actions such as handling, loading, and firing a shotgun would have been biologically improbable within minutes of injection. A 2017 analysis by the Seattle Independent Forensic Institute concluded that this morphine concentration typically causes rapid respiratory failure, leaving no functional capacity for using both hands. Needle marks on Cobain's left arm suggested the injection occurred shortly before his death, based on blood enzyme breakdown. 2. Missing fingerprints. The 1994 investigation reported only partial unreadable fingerprints on the Remington M11 shotgun, the pen used in the note, and the single recovered shell casing. A 2009 re-examination by the Seattle Forensic Science Laboratory found it highly unusual for all three key pieces of evidence to lack identifiable prints simultaneously. Environmental conditions can degrade prints over time, but experts noted that the chance of uniform degradation across all items was inconsistent with typical case statistics. 3. Note with mixed writing styles. Cobain's final note shows two distinct writing styles. The first portion reads like a farewell to his career, while the final lines address his family in a markedly different emotional tone. A 2011 analysis by the Northwest Institute of Forensic Linguistics found that the concluding section contained sentence patterns, linguistic stress, and structural choices that didn't match Cobain's journals or letters. While emotional distress can alter handwriting, the statistical review classified the ending as significantly different, raising the possibility that part of the note may have been altered or added. 4. ATM withdrawal after estimated time of death. Bank records revealed that Cobain's account was used at a Queen Anne ATM hours after the estimated time of his passing. Although banking systems in 1994 did not process transactions in real time, the PIN used matched Cobain's own. According to a 2020 audit by the King County Financial Office, there is no evidence the card was reported missing, stolen, or replaced. This leaves open the possibility that someone with personal access to Cobain's information used the card. 5. Shell casing position versus weapon mechanics. Investigators in 1994 documented the shell casing lying to Cobain's left, even though the Remington shotgun he used ejects to the right. Technical analysis from the Domestic Firearms Research Institute in 2015 explained that a left side casing would require an unnatural 180-degree rotation of the shotgun or of Cobain's body. According to the report, this could only occur through direct handling of the weapon immediately after the shot. These forensic questions do not stand alone. Re-examined documents suggest that Cobain's personal relationships, creative conflicts, and internal pressures during his final months may form a deeper, far more complicated backdrop to the events surrounding his death. Personal relationships and legal moves. Courtney Love remained the closest person to Kurt Cobain during the final chaotic stretch of his personal and artistic life. According to legal filings from King County in 1994, roughly 2 weeks before Cobain's death, a request was made to attorney Rosemary Carroll, who represented both Cobain and Love in several business matters, to review the couple's prenuptial agreement. In an internal recording later provided to investigator Tom Grant, Carroll stated that Cobain had asked her to go over the terms again because he was rethinking his entire role in the structure of his personal assets. The recording, which runs 17 minutes, aligns with earlier testimony from a financial advisor who met Cobain at Carroll's office in late March to discuss separating his personal income from Nirvana's revenue streams. Records from 1994 show that Courtney Love was the first to report Cobain missing, calling the police on April 3rd. However, transcripts from the original call contained discrepancies about when Cobain had left the Exodus Recovery Center. Phone logs later showed he had actually left on April 1st, extending the window during which he was unaccounted for by nearly 2 days longer than first reported. The El Duce claim. Another piece of the puzzle emerged in 1996 when Eldon Hoke, better known as El Duce, claimed in an interview that he had been offered $5,000 by a well-known female musician to take care of Cobain. Hoke took a polygraph test administered by American Polygraph Technologies, which concluded with 95% confidence that he believed his own statements. Although Hoke never named the person directly, details he gave matched rumors circulating in the industry at the time. 3 days after recording the interview, Hoke was struck and killed by a train in an incident authorities labeled accidental. Yet an internal report from the show's production crew noted that Hoke had told them he felt he was being watched during the week leading up to his death. Taken together, the legal discussions about asset division, the restructuring of Cobain's financial rights, the timeline discrepancies, and the El Duce allegations form a pattern that investigators consider significant. The overlap in timing between these legal and personal developments and Cobain's death has led several experts to view them as interconnected elements that may have influenced the events that followed. The last 90 days. A timeline of decline. In the 3 months leading up to April 5, 1994, Kurt Cobain's world slowly unraveled. Medical files, management notes, and rehab records paint a picture of a man losing his grip on both his career and himself. It began on January 4th, right after Nirvana wrapped their final tour date in Germany. When Kurt returned to Seattle, his managers at Gold Mountain noticed something was off. He struggled through strategy meetings, barely engaging in conversations about releases, promotions, or future tours. By January 15th, at a meeting inside DGC Records, he asked for a full break from work until mid-1994 and refused a major photo shoot, citing health problems. By February, the withdrawal was impossible to ignore. His doctor noted severe stomach pain, sleeplessness, and alarming weight loss. A clinic assessment warned he was at high risk of relapse. He even skipped a scheduled counseling session because, according to staff, he simply could not participate. On March 3rd, Kurt flew to Rome to join Courtney Love during her album promotion. The next morning, he was rushed to the Umberto Afur Polyclinic after reacting to a mix of Rohypnol and alcohol. Hospital notes described it as a dangerous sedative reaction requiring round-the-clock monitoring. Security later found a handwritten note in his belongings, a short message about wanting to walk away from his public life. The U.S. consulate logged it in their official report. Back in Seattle, an intervention was held on March 25th. Nirvana members, Courtney, and close friends confronted him. According to the consultant's notes, Kurt resisted at first but eventually agreed to seek treatment. He checked into Exodus Recovery in Los Angeles on March 30th, arriving confused and barely communicative. Just 2 days later, on April 1st, he walked out of the facility unnoticed, slipping past a security system that hadn't been updated in months. He returned to Seattle, and on April 4th, his home phone records show one final call, an 8-minute conversation with a musician in Athens, Georgia, about a project they had planned to start in 2 weeks. These final 90 days form a haunting pattern: retreat, confusion, canceled plans, sudden travel, and mounting emotional strain. Piece by piece, his structure, personal, professional, and psychological, was falling apart, setting the stage for a tragedy no one around him could stop. Legacy, pain, and silence. In the days after Kurt Cobain's body was found on April 8, 1994, a series of legal proceedings began in Washington state. a quiet but complex battle over his music rights, estate, and the future of his young family. Cobain's full catalog, including the 3 official Nirvana albums and a vault of unreleased recordings, was valued at roughly $6.7 million at the time. His daughter, Frances Bean Cobain, became the primary heir. Because she was still an infant, a temporary guardian represented her until she came of age. Court documents finalized later in 1994 transferred all of Cobain's intellectual property into a family trust managed through Wells Fargo advisors. From 1995 to 2005, royalties from Nirvana's catalog were funneled into that trust, covering everything from archival preservation to legal oversight of reissues and licensing. On the personal side of his legacy, Aberdeen High School, Cobain's alma mater, launched the Kurt Cobain Arts Scholarship in 1996. Funded through royalties and donations from industry partners, it supported local students for decades. By 2024, more than 180 scholarships had been awarded. When Frances Bean assumed full control of her estate in 2010, public filings showed she chose to keep the existing management system intact. She made it clear she did not wish to alter, remix, or repackage her father's original work. By 2022, financial statements revealed that revenue from the Cobain catalog still made up nearly 82% of her total net worth. After the new documents surfaced in 2025, several companies that held licensing rights to Cobain's image formally requested a review of their agreements, hoping to ensure consistency with any future legal conclusions that might emerge from the reopened scrutiny. Kurt Cobain's death marked the end of his life, but not the end of the story. 3 decades later, new evidence, new testimonies, and new forensic analysis continue to reshape what many once believed was a settled narrative. If the latest revelations hold true, this case may not remain a closed chapter in rock history, but the beginning of a deeper re-examination of one of music's most haunting mysteries. But what do you think? Do these new details change the way you see the case? Or is the mystery still far from solved? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dive investigations like this.